All right. Thank you. It is 6:30, and I would like to officially call this meeting 298 of Downtown Toastmasters Club to order. My name is Eric Mwangi Karaoke, and I'll be the presiding officer this evening. On behalf of Downtown, I would like to welcome everyone present, our Downtown Toastmasters members, our guests, and our visiting Toastmasters from other clubs. I can see a lot of familiar faces and as well some new faces. I would like to welcome you to Downtown Toastmasters. I'd like to invite just a few guests that happen to be in the room to share with us where they found out about Downtown or who invited them for the meeting. So I'll take one or two, and I would like to, who can I see in my screen? I think I can see an Alan Onyango. Alan, please come on stage, tell us where you're joining us from and how you found out about the meeting. Alan is a bit stuck, right?
Hello, Eric.
Hello, Alan. Tell us. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much. My name is Alan Onyango. I found out about the club online, and I thought it was amazing. So I joined. This is actually my first time, and I'm hoping to learn a lot from you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. We are happy to have you on board, and welcome to Downtown. And good work to the PR team that's doing an amazing job to ensure Kenya's Finest Club is out there and is easy to reach. I'd like now to invite, I think, one more person, Nikirote Mwiti. I can see you, but I cannot hear you. I'd love to hear from you. Where are you joining us from? How did you find out about this tonight's meeting?
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've been a guest at several Toastmasters Club because I'd like to join one. And I think I saw the poster for this meeting in the group for SEMA guests. And just the way the wording, the title was very interesting. Maybe it's because I'm struggling being in Nairobi and I was like, I want to listen to this. So here I am. Thank you very much. And I look forward to what you have in store.
Fantastic, Nkorote. Kudos to our PR team and the man of the hour all the way from Kericho, the team man who will tell us how his struggle in Nairobi has made him who he is. So I look forward to our team. Thank you, Nkorote, and definitely welcome to Downtown Toastmasters. Now, I would like to introduce my executive committee. This is a team that is responsible for running everything that happens in the club. I'll begin with myself. I am the club president and oversee the overall leadership and guidance. The next up is our vice president of education, Wokista Mombi, who oversees our meeting programs and member progress. Wokista, I saw you in the meeting. Maybe you could wave or switch on your video and say hello. Then we have our vice president of membership, Faith Muhunyo, who is overall responsible for enhancing the guest and member experience with care, with patience, and with a lot of passion. So, Faith, you can wave and say hi. Then we have our Vice President of Public Relations, Frank Mugwaneza, who promotes and manages our visibility to all of you so you can find us and learn more about us. Unfortunately, our secretary, Diana Kerubo, is not able to make it for this meeting, but she's the one who supports in recording the minutes and holding the institutional memory of this club. We have our treasurer, Dennis Kahura, who's in the meeting. Dennis, you can wave and say hi, who manages our club finances. And finally, we have our amazing, superb Sergeant at Arms, Nicole Washera, who ensures all the meeting logistics setup are always ready for us to go. This is my team. I would encourage you to get in touch with them, to speak with them, and get to learn more about the club and how we can support, realize your dreams of becoming an effective communicator and leader. Now, I would like to officially invite our Sergeant at Arms, Nicole Washera, to share with us the meeting rules and etiquette. Nicole, over to you.
Thank you so much, Presiding Officer. Apologies, my laptop is lagging. I will just read out. I cannot share my screen at the moment because there's so much going on my laptop. It's going to lag, but I'm going to read out the housekeeping rules for all our guests and fellow Toastmasters to keep in mind during the meeting. Just to let you know, today's meeting is a bit special compared to our previous meetings, as we're going to have some very involving activities, especially for Downtown Club members. And I would urge you to please adhere to the housekeeping rules in order to maintain order and decorum during the proceedings. First thing is that I would like you all to rename yourselves in the order as follows. If you are a role taker, put a hashtag on your name, the role that you're undertaking. For example, I am the SAA of the day. Therefore, my name will appear as hashtag SAA _ Nicole Washera. For all role takers, that is the TMOD, timekeeper, grammarian, accountant, all those people, please rename yourselves as required. Hashtag the role you're undertaking _ your name. Then, for any Toastmaster who is a part of this meeting, whether you are a member of Downtown or a visiting Toastmaster, please write the name of your club _ your name. For example, I'm a member of Downtown TMC, therefore my name will appear as Downtown _ Nicole Washera. Then, if you are yet to join Toastmasters, that is, you are a guest of the day, please write your name as guest _ your name. For example, if I was a guest, I would write my name as guest _ Nicole Washera. Please adhere to these as it is very important for us in our minutes and also as we continue with the meeting to facilitate a smooth and orderly session. Therefore, other than that, I would like to add a few tips. Please keep your videos on as much as possible for a better experience to allow us to interact with one another, albeit virtually, to be able to see each other. Mute your microphone at all times if you are not speaking and unless you are called upon to speak. So if as you join the meeting or during the meeting, keep your microphone off. As soon as you are called upon, turn your microphone on and maintain your video on and speak. During this meeting, some polls are going to be launched. I would urge you to vote for your best speaker, best table topics, and best evaluator when called upon. In the progress of the meeting, if you have anything you would like to contribute to the meeting, use the chat and reaction buttons to engage, whether it's in response to questions posed by the TMOD or during the table topic session. If there is a question that has been asked to everyone, kindly respond via reactions or in the chat section. Lastly, please enjoy yourselves and we welcome you to Downtown Toastmasters meeting. Thank you so much. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Nicole, for all those most important reminders. I believe we are all into with what has been said. If I had a big budget, I would definitely splurge a lot of good money for that excellent delivery. Once again, I would like to welcome everyone who is present. The benefits of our guest, Toastmasters International is a global non-profit organization that empowers individuals to become more confident communicators and leaders. Our mission at Downtown Toastmasters is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which you are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. At Downtown, we are a safe space for you to grow and belong. Now, I would like to move on quickly to the approval of the minutes of our previous meeting. I will be stepping in for the secretary who is absent. I would like to request if we can mute. Enoch, could you mute, please? Thank you. The minutes of the meeting 297 and 296 was circulated by the secretary in the members group, I believe. I would like to request for a proposer to move the minutes to be adopted as read. Can I have a proposer?
I propose.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joseph Karuga, for proposing. May I have a seconder? I believe all of you read both minutes.
I second.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dennis Kahura. I believe if there is no objection, the minutes of the previous two meetings have been passed with acclamation. Now, it's that high time where I would like to transition to introducing the man of the hour, the man of the day, the T-man from Kericho himself. He is a Toastmaster of the day, and his role is to lead us through tonight's agenda, introduce our speakers, and tie everything together under tonight's theme. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster of the day, Calvin Salim. And Salim shared the following about himself. So to just get a bit of tea on who this Salim is, he said this: if my life were a movie, I think I would call it Tea Break. Not because life has been slow, but because I have learned to value the moments in between. The pauses where you listen, observe, process, and return with a clearer sense of purpose. Professionally, Salim is a visual creative working where communication and design meet. His world is printing and branding, and he enjoys taking an idea that exists only in someone's mind and turning it into something people can see, feel, and remember. He believes a good design is not just about making things look beautiful, it's about telling a story as well. Then there is the less serious side of Kelvin. Somewhere along the way, he discovered that he can mimic Nairobi CBD hawkers and matatu touts with suspiciously accurate precision. It is one of those talents nobody asked for, yet somehow he ended up having. Occasionally, he wonders whether he chose the wrong career. But perhaps the branding world is safer for everyone. I believe, Salim, you can always rebrand. The world is your oyster and your playground. So let us welcome Salim as he tells us more about tonight's theme, the Nairobi School of Economics. A loud shout out. You can open your mic and, yell, scream, you relate.
Oh,
Woo, Salim!
woohoo!
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that outstanding introduction. Please confirm you can hear me. Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the fellow victims of the Nairobi economy. Before we begin, let me conduct a very serious economic survey. By a show of hands or a way of reacting, tell me if you've ever received money and for a beautiful 2-3 minutes, you believed you're rich. Please let us react as I conduct that particular survey. Thank you for the few reactions coming my way. Exactly. You received that message. Confirmed you have received the most envious message you will want to receive at whatsoever point you are in. Sometimes when you receive that amount of money, your posture changes. Somebody will ask, should we go for lunch? Normally, you will ask, how much? But you ask, where? For approximately 48 hours, you become a member of the Nairobi's upper class. Then Nairobi begins teaching. Transport here, lunch there, a little M-Pesa here, a small purchase, the cough drop tropicals, and so It is only 500 bob remaining. And suddenly you're there scrolling through your statement asking oily words. Kwani pesa ili what you bought. Welcome to the university you never applied for, but somehow we all got admitted. No admission letters, no help, no scholarships, unfortunately, no dropping out at all. The Nairobi School of Economics. If you're ready for class, please let us one more time react our favorite emojis. Class, I would like to dive into one particular aspect. It's called the Nairobi board mass. And because every respectable school of economics need a formula, thank God in our very own class tonight, we have one. Forget the board mass you learned in school, your favorite mathematics teacher, Mr. Kamau, or teacher Kalonda. But here in Nairobi, we have our very own. In Nairobi, the B stands for the bills. B stand for the bills. They are always waiting for your salary to gallop and swallow it just that particular moment you have received it. And then we go to the O. These are the obligations. Obligations to the landlord who comes knocking every 30th of every month, telling you, we need that money, we need that rent. We have the obligations to the family, to the subscriptions, your Netflix, your Prime videos, and over the EPL family group, DSTV. That is where the O, obligations, are falls in. And the third one, D. What does D stand for in this particular group? The data. How else am I going to complain on X or formerly Twitter about the ruined economy for me to feel good on the inside? Because even financial suffering must be documented, at least online in form of threads. Let's dive in deeper. M in the board mass formula means M-Pesa. For a moment, you receive that amount of money, but the amount of money it takes you to transfer it is way big. The transaction cost charges that individually look harmless until you see the monthly statement. Anything for the boys, right? Apologies, I have lost power, but I believe I am on. A, anything for the boys. Are you out? Are you willing to be open over the weekend? Yes, I will be there. This is something we throw in, but eventually goes and enables us to splurge our money into the things we had not planned. And finally, savings. Whatever remains is always zero, nothing. So class, I hope you have learned about the BODMAS formula. Without explaining yourself, maybe in the chat, because I know we all relate. Please, which letter within the board mass finances most relate you with? B, for the bills. O, obligations to the landlord and rent. D, for the data bundles, because how else will you complain online? M, for the M-Pesa transaction charges. A, anything for the boys. Or in this case, anything for the girls. If you get it, you know it. S, savings. Please let me know on the chat which letter resonates with you. Now, let us dive in. In every faculty, there's always departments, and every department is headed by specific people. Economic teaches us that resources are scarce. Tonight, the scarcest resource is time. Unfortunately, there is no Fuliza for extra minutes. Our next official controls the green, red, yellow economy. And once it is red, even the always renowned IMF cannot rescue your speech this time, no matter how much money they are willing to go down for. Please welcome the governor of the Central Bank of Time, Mercy Mwangi. Take it away, Mercy.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. Welcome to Downtown Toastmasters Club. I was not expecting that intro, but Salim, I really like that title. I'm going to keep it. I will be your timekeeper this evening, and in Toastmasters, we not only learn how to speak, but most importantly, we learn how to keep time. This evening, we're going to have two main speeches. The first one will be 5 to 7 minutes. I will show the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. So my background will be changing as follows. The second speech will be a tip session, a level 5 project that will take 10 to 15 minutes. So I will show the green card at 10 minutes, the yellow card at 12 minutes, and the red card at 15 minutes. Table topics. For the people who will take on this challenge, I urge you to speak for between 1 to 2 minutes. I will show the green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, the red card at 2 minutes, and the red card will remain until the person finishes speaking. Grammarian, I hope that's correct. And then we have the general evaluator who will take 7 minutes, 5 minutes green, 6 minutes yellow, and 7 minutes red. For the functionary role takers, your reports should take, the grammarian should be 3 minutes. So I will show the green card at 1 minute, yellow at 2, and red at 3. And finally, the R counter at 2 minutes. So 1 minute green, and then 1 minute, 30 seconds yellow, and finally 2 minutes red. I truly hope that you get value for time as you spend the next 2 hours with us. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, our very able timer, Masi Mwangi. Whenever you see red, begin negotiating for your next exit strategy. But not to worry, this is a safe space. As we move on slowly, every economy has leakages. You create a budget and somehow 700 disappears under something called miscellaneous, or if you want to term it in a professional way, the contingency part. Speeches have their own miscellaneous expenditure. Basically, as I was saying, please welcome the Commissioner of Verbal Revenue, Frank Munganeza. Take it away, Frank.
Thank you for that, Salim. I am privileged to be the R counter for today. And as the R counter, the purpose is to note the words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause or filler that will be used by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will be listening to the overused words, including and, well, but, so, you know. I will also listen to filler words, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase. And as a result, we'll be in a position to be able to speak well-intentioned. Back to you, the Toastmaster, Salim.
Thank you very much, Frank, for reminding us that instead of saying we should take a pause, and always silence is still one of the few things Nairobi has for free on a light note, right? Now, to our final tag team role taker, and we will say money has value, so do our words. Words have value too. And occasionally, some of us love to misuse either or both. Tonight, our very own Professor Beatrice will monitor our linguistics economy and introduce our official currency of the evening. Please welcome Professor of Linguistics, Beatrice Mwangi. Take it away, Beatrice.
Thank you, Salim, for that introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the grammarian for today, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers. I'll be listening carefully to the language used. I'll also take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. And as the grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. So for today's meeting, the word of the day is splurge. I think you've heard it being used by Salim once. So I'll just put it in the chat box. So splurge means to spend or indulge money freely or extravagantly, especially on something enjoyable but not necessary, or something that you do not need. Let me repeat that, the meaning of the word splurge again. It means to spend or indulge money freely or extravagantly, especially on something enjoyable, but not necessary or do not truly need. Examples in a sentence would be, after receiving her bonus, she decided to splurge on a weekend getaway to the coast. Another example would be, after a long, stressful week, she splurged on a fancy dinner to treat herself. And the last example I'll give you is, he went to the mall intending to save money, but ended up splurging on gadgets he didn't really need. So each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and then I will give my grammarian report when called upon the meeting. Back to you, Tia Modi.
Thank you very much, Beatrice, for that explicit explanation and on the use of the word of the day. Remember, splurge, to spend or indulge freely. Your assignment tonight to each and every one of us who will be called to speak is to use splurge at least one. Splurge on vocabulary. And of course, now let us splurge some reactions to our very own tag team for telling us what we need to do tonight. Of course, this will not affect our M-Pesa balance, unless if you look at it, then you will remain in Awe and you will not be able to react to our very own tag team. Now, let us move on to the prepared speaking sessions. Students, this is where we move from the very practical to the theory part to lectures. In most universities, as I will vividly remember, lecturers stand in front of you with PowerPoint slides. In Toastmasters, it is different. We give you a microphone and watch what happens. But here is your responsibility as the audience. For you, it is for you to applause and make a speaker feel appreciated. But attentions make a speaker feel heard. So anytime a speaker comes in, please react and splash them with a bit of reactions to motivate them. Our first evaluator will introduce our first speaker. To introduce our first speaker, Eva Mugweru, will be James Karuga. Over to you, James Karuga. Joseph Karuga. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. TMOD. I was a bit confused, James. Thank you, though, and good evening, Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Can everyone hear me?
Loud and clear.
Fantastic. So Eva Mugweru is undertaking her Writing a Speech with a Purpose project on her level 1 of her path, Dynamic Leadership. The purpose of this project is for Eva to learn and review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose, and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Eva has 5 to 7 minutes rather, sorry for that, to present her speech, which is titled, Apparently, I'm Pushing 30. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Eva Mugweru. Apparently, I'm pushing 30. Apparently, I'm pushing 30. Eva Mugweru. A round of applause emojis. Please let her feel welcome. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. TMOD.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you ever had two completely unrelated conversations in the same week that somehow made you question your entire life? I did. Last week, I was making a cold call. Hi, I am Eva and I'm calling you from... And the person interrupts and says, no. I know these types of calls. You are a scammer. And that was my Tuesday. Then later that week, I was talking to a friend, telling her about work, life, and I said that I'm still trying to figure some things out and making plans for the future. And she says, well, you need to hurry. You're pushing 30 now. I am 26. And I hate the phrase pushing 30. Because why does 26 suddenly sound so old? When you're younger, age sounds exciting. You're 16, going on 17. You're 17, going on 18. You're going on something. But after 25, apparently, you're pushing 30. And it sounds like a warning. And that conversation made me think about the life I thought I would have by this age. When I was 7, I had my whole life planned. I used to watch older family friends and cousins and think, that's what being an adult looks like. So by 25, I was going to have finished university, done my master's, became a maths lecturer, gotten married, had a child, bought a car, a house, and I'd be traveling, splurging my money. Basically, I was going to be living the best life. And I was very sure about the career part. I was going to be a maths lecturer for 3 very good reasons. 1, I was really good at maths. 2, I had an aunt, Aunt Wangoi, who was also a lecturer, and I thought she was the coolest person alive. And 3, the word lecturer sounded like a very important adult job. So obviously, that was the career for me. 7-year-old me was extremely confident, but she had no idea what was coming. At 13, I got to high school and I discovered I was really good at physics. At this point, I had seen enough lecturer strikes on TV to know that becoming a maths lecturer probably wasn't the best move for me. Luckily, I was good at maths and physics, which meant one thing: I could pursue engineering. So at 17, after high school, I went to the university and studied civil engineering. And that is where I learned that there's a big difference between being good at something and actually enjoying it. I discovered this early on during a unit called Theory of Structures. And if there are any engineers here, you know theory of structures, you know what it is about. Part of the problem was I didn't think the lecturer explained the theory of structures very well. But I also realized that structures requires a lot of imagination. You had to look at a drawing and imagine what was going on inside the structure. And my brain said, no, no thank you. We don't do that here. What I actually enjoyed was being on site. I liked supervision, coordinating things, and seeing things come to life. And I especially liked roads. Roads felt more straightforward to me than structures. So somewhere in university, I started to realize that the career I had chosen, because it made sense, wasn't necessarily the career I wanted. Then in 2020, COVID happened. Suddenly, I wasn't in class or on site. I was at home, staring at my laptop, watching my degree take longer than I expected. I ended up a year behind. 7-year-old me had planned for a master's, a family, but she hadn't planned for a global pandemic. At 22, I finally graduated and I thought, okay, now I get a job, simple. Except getting a degree and getting a job are 2 completely different achievements. For months, I applied and got rejected. There was a period where I'd wake up, pick my phone, open my email, and the first thing I'd see was, thank you for your application, unfortunately, and you know what follows. Nothing says good morning like a rejection email. Eventually, I got into a graduate program, not in engineering or project management like I thought, but in sales and marketing. At first, I thought, actually, this could be good for me. I mean, I'm naturally quiet, so sales will force me to talk to people, interact more, and get out of my comfort zone. And I hear the pay is good. So I thought, good pay, new skills, personal growth, I mean, a win-win situation. Then came my first cold call. I introduced myself, explained why I was calling, and the person said no. And they called me a scammer. And I remember thinking, so this is what getting out of my comfort zone looks like. And apparently, some things never change. Because last week, years later, I made another cold call and got called a scammer again. And at this point, I'm starting to think maybe it's not my sales technique. But sales has taught me a lot. I've become more comfortable speaking to people, handling rejection, negotiating, and putting myself out there. So here I am at 26, apparently pushing 30. According to 7-year-old me, I should now be a maths lecturer with a master's. I should be married with a family, a house, a car. But instead, I'm in sales and nowhere close to marriage. I think 7-year-old me will be pretty concerned. But I am amused by it. I used to think that being an adult meant at some point everything will just click. You become more serious, you make good decisions, you know exactly what you're doing. Instead, now, being an adult means making my own decisions, trusting myself, and being responsible for whatever happens next. And it can be stimulating at times. But there's a quote by Doug Larson that says, "The trouble with learning from experience is that you never graduate." And I think that is where I am right now. I graduated university, but I am still a student of life. I am still figuring out my career, still figuring out what I want my life to look like. And I'm sure I'll change my mind a few more times along the way. So now I am trying to stop comparing my life to a timeline created by a 7-year-old. I mean, she had good intentions, but she didn't know about theory of structures, or COVID, or rejection emails, or getting called a scammer on a Tuesday morning. So before I finish, I want you to think about something. What did the younger version of you think your life would look like by now? Maybe you became exactly what you expected. Maybe you didn't. Maybe your life took a completely different route. And if it did, don't immediately call it a failure. Sometimes the plan changes because you also change. So, yes, I am 26 and I am pushing 30. But I am not late. I am just not 7 anymore. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Eva. Everyone, splurge on applause. It is tax-free. Thank you very much for the applause. Eva, you mentioned something very critical and vital in the Nairobi School of Economics. Maybe something we'll venture into the future. Scamming. In the Nairobi School of Economics, there's some people who will study on finances, but the very, very clever ones. We call them sharp people, sharp boys and girls, will study on how they will separate you from your finances. It could be through involuntary contribution to their economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, for those in Nairobi, how many times have you ordered something online to only collect it on the 14th floor in a building that does not exist in Dubois? This is the Nairobi School of Economics. As we move on to our next session, this is something particularly valuable. In Nairobi, there are no free things. There are no free things, right? But tonight, we will receive 10 minutes without someone asking, will you do M-Pesa, or are you swiping? Okay? Tonight, we will have something called the tip session. To welcome our tip session master of the day, Faith Muhunyo, is Sanaba. Over to you, Sanaba.
Hello, fellow Toastmaster. Good evening or good afternoon, whatever you are joining for. I am joining you from Senegal, so it's my first time with you, and I will be honored to evaluate Faith Muhunyo. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, it's not common for me. She's on the Presentry Mastery pathways, level 5, project 3. She will deliver 10 to 15 minutes speech on the moment of truth on successful club series. How a club can success, bring new members, improve meeting quality and program, etc. I am a VP of my club, so I can tell you that this moment of truth is really important in Toastmaster. So our speaker will splurge tips and demonstrate how to fulfill these and even more. At the end of the speech, I will give you my report. So let's applause on our virtual podium, Faith Muhunyo. The title of her project is If Our Club Were a Home. Faith, the floor is to you.
Kindly confirm that you can see my screen. If so, how many of us have visited our friends at their home this year? By a show of hands. If not, take this as a sign to kindly visit your friends. For those who have, even in the past years, we always had expectations, and we were met with some harsh realities sometimes, and sometimes they were quite what you really expected. Now stop imagining about visiting your friend. Think about downtown, if it was actually a home. Now we are not going to be moving away and going to Karen or any other place. Downtown where it meets, Cardinal Lutunga Plaza, 9th floor. That's where our home is. Welcome to Moments of Truth. I will take you through what it is actually, how it's gonna help us as downtown members, and I'll be using the analogy of home, being in a home. So other than visiting people's home, figure out the last time you actually hosted someone at your home. There's that moment when they knocked, you showed them around, then you thought, would you actually invite them back? That's how our club works, pretty much the same way. Moments of Truth, the Toastmasters International tool from the Club Successful series, built to sustain club quality. Then there is the moment where someone comes into contact with your club. I'll talk about it in different aspects or pillars throughout the session. And then 3, it's a way to guide evaluation and help us become or stay distinguished as a club. There are 6 moments of truth. 1, first impression. 2, membership orientation. 3, fellowship, variety, and communication. 4, program planning and meeting organization. 5, membership strength. and seeks achievement recognition. The analogy still stays. You have come to downtown, Cardinal Otunga Plaza. That is our home. And to make it even more interesting, the president is the head of the family. Eric is the dad now, okay? The first impression, there's that one person, or if you're a guest, you come knocking at someone's door before you actually enter their home. That is what first impressions look like. When you knock, will someone actually open for you? And when that one person opens for you, will they be smiling back at you? And how will that make you feel in that moment? So here it's downtown. And essentially, the SAA is supposed to take up this responsibility. But if it were for me, I think every member needs to take it up. Greet every guest warmly at the door. Give them a name tag and ask them to sign the guest book. And even throughout the meeting, show them around, invite them to even join the next club meeting, tell them about how downtown is amazing. This way, they feel warm and welcome, and for sure, they will come back for the next meeting. That's on first impressions. Secondly, that one guest has come to your place. Do you just let them sit or you show them around? So show them around, introduce them to the family. There is Eric, who is the head of the family. There's the vice president education, who's with Kista. So these are the elders. And then there's the members. These are the family members. So people like Selin, Kelvin, these are the members. Joseph Karuga is a member. So these are the family members. Show the guest around. Who is the head of the family? Who are the members? And who are the little elders that help the head of the family? Membership orientation is very important. That's our second point. New members need to understand our education program and their role first, or they easily drift. So imagine you are the guest and you have not been shown around. You feel out of place. So as a member of Downtown Toastmasters, you're also obliged to show new members what to take up on now that they have become members of Downtown Toastmasters. Assign a mentor, and if you become a mentor, kindly show people around. Walk them through pathways, and last but not least, speaking roles. Assign them as early as possible. This way, the member already feels warm, welcomed, and feels like they're already part of this family. Number 3 on moments of truth. It's fellowship, variety, and communication. Still on an analogy, think about are about to have the family dinner. So Eric is seated there at the very front, and then the rest of us are seated at the side of the table. We sit down together, we share a meal, laugh, and catch up. As members of this family, do we still stay connected? Do we fellowship together? When we plan for meetings, do you enjoy them? And you, as the role taker, do you ensure that everyone else has felt good and welcomed in this meeting? We will be holding regular social events. Do you feel in place? These are the questions that you should be asking yourself. And as a member, do you also encourage other people to come in for social events? There's newsletters, there is a website that is shared there. You keep checking on them. Then, lastly, the members participate in area, district, and international events. An example of international events like tycoon. As a member, do you actually plan to visit or go for these social or international events so as to feel in place and to share a meal, laugh, and catch up with other members of Toastmasters? That's on number 3. The second one is on program planning and meeting organization. So there is this new guest. The guest has become a member of the family. But on day 2, 3, you're no longer a family guest. You are a member now. In African home, you're even given the duty of washing the dishes. Yes, Now, think of it that way. If you come to downtown, now you are a member, you have already gotten used to things. How well is the agenda run? Are you also part of the agenda? Make sure that the program starts and ends on time. It's not the duty of the VPE. It's also the duty of members to know when to start and when to end, how the program runs, and if the meeting is well organized. Then there's roles like evaluations. As an evaluator, are you taking note of the projects that the speaker is taking on? And you're ensuring that they do their due diligence. That way, we help each other to grow more. So this guest, who's already become a member, is now washing the dishes. Wow. On the fifth point, there is membership strength. This is when the home is full of life. Think of it this way. You've come to Cardinal Lutunga Plaza, and the meeting room is full of guests more than members. You'll feel out of place because the person seated next to you doesn't even understand how Toastmasters is going on and what Toastmasters is about. But imagine if we are all active in our membership. We have more than 30 members in Downtown Toastmasters. How about we keep renewing our membership and stay as active as possible? Secondly, actively promote the club. Are you a good member? Are you a good ambassador of Downtown Toastmasters? I'm sure there are people here, if they go outside, they keep shouting, Kenya's finest club, KFC. Are you among them? If not, please take it upon yourself. Third, recognize members who sponsor new ones. Who's a sponsor really? A sponsor in Toastmasters is the person who invites a guest and manages to convince these guests to become a member of Downtown Toastmasters. That's a sponsor. Do we congratulate these people? That is a home that is full of life, and the family members get to participate. So the small elders are not the only ones who are participating, and the elder, the president, who is our dad, is also not just the only one participating. All of us are taking part in this home. The sixth one is achievement recognition. Think of it this way. It's someone's birthday in the home. Do we actually buy them cake? Do we celebrate them? Do you wish them happy birthday? They're your friends. They're your family members. Think of it as these milestones that we achieve, not just in Toastmasters, but more on Toastmasters for sure. And the other things that people get to do outside Toastmasters. Do we track such things? Do we recognize their efforts? That is on achievement and recognition. How do we follow up on these standards? Formally recognize every achievement. I'm sure the VPE does so well on this, and also the VPPR. But when they are posted, are you amongst the people who clap for others? Because at one point, it will be your turn. 2, there is publicizing club and member wins. Other than just showing it on the club wall, we should be, as much as possible, showing it on the social media platforms. And we do make sure that you like, share, congratulate your people, they're your family members. And then use the DCP for planning for even the whole year and the next. These are the 6 stages. There was first impressions. You could remember where you were knocking on someone's door before they entered. 2, there was member orientation. So taking them through what Toastmasters is all about and ensuring that they feel welcomed in this space. 3, there was fellowship and variety and communication, where we shared a meal with the guests and members. They didn't feel out of place. 4, there's a routine, where you wash the dishes now because you're no longer a new person. 5, where there is the home that is full of life and the family members get to participate. 6, there's the achievement recognition. So What will the next actions be looking like? The EXCO team is actually organizing moments of truth. There will be 6 teams, just as I had divided them. Each takes 1 moment of truth. Then 2, we will be rating our club on real standards. Are we actually achieving these goals? Are we actually as per the standard of Toastmasters? If not, how well can we improve? That's where we'll be discussing on them in these teams. And 4, we'll come up with a whole summary and we will share with the whole club on how well we are doing and what can be done better between now and yes, by the time we are doing a whole year of celebration that we have finished our 2026-2027 journey. Are you ready to be the best family member in Downtown Toastmasters? Other than that, have you well understood the different impressions that you get to show guests and also members as a Downtown Toastmaster family member? I hope it's all well taken and can't wait to be part of a team so that we can discuss on these different moments of truth. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Faith. That was valuable. Please let us splurge on applause for our very own tip session master. Home is where the heart is, and in Nairobi, it is also where half your budget goes before the month even begins. Please confirm, Nicole Washera, that you will be conducting the better speaker poll. Nicole?
Yes, I will be. Just give me 1 minute and I will launch it.
Thank you very much. As you do that, let me indulge with you with one of the funny questions that happens in Nairobi. Of course, I will be expecting you to participate on the chat by dropping that, but please do not forget to vote. My question is, what is the most financial dangerous sentence you tell yourself in Nairobi? What is the most financial dangerous sentence you tell yourself in Nairobi for you to spend that money? I will start with mine. My two favorite phrases I tell myself to splander and use that money in Nairobi. 1, tumia pesa ikuzoee. Use that money that it can get fond of you. The other one, I deserve it. Yes, please let us drop some of your favorite quotes on the chat that you tell yourself to use that money. Yes, I can see the reactions. I am a baby girl. Thank you for the reactions. What is the other one? Life is for the living. There's one in Swahili that says, si pesa ni yangu. Right, which means the money is mine. I worked for it. We only live once. I think the YOLO is winning. YOLO. Okay? You only live once. Thank you very much. Please do not forget to vote for the better speaker. I ended.
Mr.
Yes, Nicole?
Timothy, just give me 1 second. I think there's a hiccup somewhere. I'm going to launch it as you continue speaking, but I will let you know once I do. It's coming up and then it's disappearing, so just bear with me.
No problem. Take all the time you need, Nicole. Of course, we'll not be charging you as the Nairobi School of Economics. Please keep the comments coming. Life is worth a living. Yes. You only live once. Okay. YOLO is winning. Is it me who says I deserve it? And kesho itajipanga. Of course, they sound very authentic and nice in Swahili, which means tomorrow plans for itself. As we move on to our next segment. All right. I really love the responses. Thank you. Please don't convert the money into UGXC. That is for a few to understand and decode that. Who am I leaving it for? Yes. Kwani natafutia nani? Sounds the best in Kiswahili. All right. We will continue, but please note, once the poll pops up on your screen, please remember to vote for our better speaker. Our first speaker was Eva Mugweru, and our second was a tip session conducted by Faith Muhunyo. Thank you very much for the responses. Indeed, this is an NSC Nairobi School of Economics class, and I'm happy as lecturer we are doing class. Let us move on. Now, we have now arrived to the point whereby the department we do not have to budget, plan, or prepare because all of them become completely useless. Welcome to the advanced macroeconomics of thinking on your feet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we will call impromptu speaking, or rather, using the Toastmaster term, is table topics. Nairobi actually prepares us for table topics every day, every time. Your landlord will ask, the rent is due, have you paid? And you'll have to give a response. Your boss will ask, why are you late, Caroline? And there you'll have to devise the most cunning and convincing response, right? That is table topics. Your mother during the December holidays will ask you, so when are you getting married, Eric? Eric, when are you getting married? With that such question, that is whereby you will have to drop an impromptu answer, which means you will drop a question. That is not table topics. It is called the International Speech Contest, whereby you have to creatively curate an answer. But of course, sometimes you'll ask your partner, who is Sheila? With a very profound gestures. And there you will go, keeping quiet, and whereby you'll need to come up with an answer that will save even the Titanic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment whereby we get to dive into these particular questions. When Ruth was asking for volunteers tonight, volunteer your brain before it talks you out, because trust me, that chimp, that voice is very convincing. The objective is not perfection. The objective is courage, one step at a time at the Nairobi School of Economics. The lead of this department is none other than Ruth Kamau. Ruth, the market is yours. Ruth Kamau? Let me check.
Thank you
Is
so
Ruth?
much. Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much, Timothy. Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters and guests of the Nairobi School of Economics. Good evening to all of you. Today, I have the privilege of serving as your table topics, madam. Or in keeping with today's theme, I will be a lecturer for a course I'd like to call the Impromptu Economics 101. So nobody applies for admission to the Nairobi School of Economics. You just simply move to Nairobi and the lessons begin. And that is exactly the spirit of table topics today. The purpose of table topics is to help us develop the ability to think on our feet, to organize our thoughts quickly, and communicate confidently without prior preparation. Today, I will pose a question twice. About that. After I repeat the question twice, I will call upon one of you to respond. Am I audible?
Loud and clear, Ruth.
Okay, okay. Once you're called, you will have about 1 to 2 minutes to convince this class that you deserve to graduate from the Nairobi School of Economics. And since every lecturer must demonstrate that they do understand the subject they are teaching, I was also asked this question. If your bank or M-Pesa account could send you one brutally honest message about your spending habits, what will it say? And mine will probably say, Dear Ruth, please stop saying it's only going to cost me 500. So welcome to the table topics of today at the Nairobi School of Economics. My first question. You have 1,000 Kenyan shillings and payday is 3 days away. You need transport, lunch, and airtime. As a distinguished graduate of the Nairobi School of Economics, I will repeat the question. You have 1,000 and payday is 3 days away. You need transport, lunch, and airtime. As a distinguished friend, your strategy. Our very own DTM, Kevin Rubiato. Kevin Rubia, DTM Kevin Rubia, are you there? Okay, I suppose he left. I had earlier on seen him. So I will ask the same question. Let me just repeat it one more time for the next speaker. You have 1,000 Kenyan shillings and payday is 3 days away. You need transport, lunch, and airtime. As a distinguished graduate of the Nairobi School of Economics, defend your survival strategy. Toastmaster Maureen Kibadi.
As a graduate of the Nairobi School of Economics, with 3 days to payday and having just 1,000 Kenya shillings, I think I would forego lunch. I would survive on water because water is free. Water is free everywhere in the office, at home. I would use the money for fare. And yeah, I think I would make it to payday. I will survive to payday. I would avoid splurging on expensive lunch in the vibandas at Upper Hill. Splurging because they look like vibandas, but the food there is a bit expensive. 250 daily is not kidogo money, meaning small. So I will forgo lunch. I will survive on fare. And yeah, I think I'd make it. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that. They say water is a good survival strategy. Everyone needs to keep dehydrated. On to the second question. You accidentally send 5,000 shillings to the wrong number. Before you can initiate a reversal, the recipient withdraws it and switches off their phone. As a student of the Nairobi School of Economics, what stages of grief will you go through? I will repeat the question. You accidentally sent 5,000 shillings to the wrong number. Before you can initiate a reversal, the recipient withdraws it and switches off their phone. As a student of the Nairobi School of Economics, what stages of grief will you go through? I will call upon Toastmaster Mayaka.
Yes. As a comrade, I'd look at the name on the M-Pesa message and panic as my first reaction. I'd then call the person and I'd get a polite lady telling me, mteja wa nambari, ... Then I'd be in denial because I'm thinking their phone went off or the battery died or something just happened. A few minutes later, I think I'd get really angry. Like, why take money that is not yours? Or why are you so selfish, you know? I'd probably cry out one time for some reason because I feel like I have more problems. And then I'd call Safaricom to bargain, and hopefully they could reverse it. I'd maybe even call the person and tell them or text them. Hopefully they send me half, keep half. And if that doesn't work, I think at the end of the day, I'd have to accept and learn the lesson from. Because at the end of the day, it was my mistake that I did not confirm.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayaka. I think I love your strategy. From what you said your first reaction will be panic and then call Safaricom and then get in a denial stage, which will eventually get you to some anger and of course blame Ruto for everything that's happening in your life. Then start renegotiating and finally accept your fate. For the third question, someone asks you to nitumie fare, which translates to send me fare, but you are not entirely convinced that the fare will result in their arrival. What financial due diligence should you be conducting before releasing the funds? I'll repeat the question. Someone asks you to nitumie fare, send me some fare, but you're not entirely convinced that the fare will result in their arrival. What financial due diligence should be conducted before releasing the funds? I will call upon Toastmaster.
I volunteer to take the
Namek.
question.
Sorry?
Hi, table topic master. I volunteer to take the question.
Okay, perfect. Caroline, please.
You may repeat the question one more time,
Sure.
please.
Someone asks you to send them fare, which in Kenyan language we say nitumie fare, but you're not entirely convinced that the fare will result in their arrival. What financial due diligence will you conduct before releasing the funds?
What's a question when I just experienced a situation where I sent fare, but the person did not arrive? This was 2 weeks ago. I was looking forward to having a house help, and I really waited, and I was desperate because the following day I had to go to work. And I was told to send fare. Fare I did send. And I waited in the morning, through the day, all the way to evening. And I did not see the lady. I now have a strategy. And this strategy is I do not send you the money. You go to the bus stop. I send the person the conductor, for lack of a better word. This may apply for only that situation where I'm sending fare to a house help, but in other situations where I'm sending fare to someone else, I will definitely devise a strategy that works in that situation. So in this Nairobi School of Economics, strategies are very important, and one of them has to be when sending fare, particularly to that group of people whom you really want them to arrive, and they know that you are they're at your mercy, and they may come or they may not come. Thank you. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Caroline. Indeed, better safe than sorry. So it will be a better strategy to send the money to the conductor or the driver themselves. Timekeeper, kindly tell me if I have time for one more question.
We do have time for one more question. You may proceed.
Okay, thank you. My final question. You have 2,000 shillings left until payday. Your friends invite you somewhere and say the most dangerous words you'd ever hear in the Nairobi Economics. Kuja tu tutakusort. Just come, we're going to sort all your bills. Will you go? You have 2,000 Kenyan shillings left until payday. Your friends invite you somewhere and they say the most dangerous words in the Nairobi Economics. Kuja tu tutakusort. Just come, we're going to sort your bills. Do you go? I will call upon our guest, Nkirote Mwiti. Nkirote Mwiti?
Having
there?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Having had the privilege of being around for quite a number of decades, I have fallen prey to these words many times before, and the evenings stretched on in acute embarrassment as people kept splurging on drinks and food, and I had no recourse other than to look at my benefactor with pitying eyes as I hated myself. So having done this in the past, it is not a mystery to me. The answer would always be no. I'm afraid I cannot do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our guest, Nkirote. Kindly remember to vote for your best table topic. We have Maureen Kibadi, Patrick Mayaka, Caroline Joroge, and finally Nkirote Mwiti. Back to you, Timothy.
Thank you very much, Ruth, and everyone for the work well done. For those who participated, some responses were very stable investment, some were very highly speculative, like in the famous words of our comrade, Kuinama, Kuoshwa. Thank you very much, so much. Only those who have experienced and survived the Nairobi School of Economics can relate the volatility of what happens in this beautiful hood. Thank you very much. I believe, Nicole, you are conducting the poll for our best speakers. So there were only four: Maureen, Caroline, Patrick, and Kirote Mwiti. So please let us vote as we continue. On to our next segment. I would like to drop another question on the chat as we continue. But of course, this is sharing something further beyond what was shared on by the table topics. What is one thing you personally spend money on that you know isn't completely unnecessary? What is one thing you personally spend money on that you know is completely unnecessary? I think I will go on that. The first one is stationery. I have like 1,000 pens, and every time I see another, I have to add it to my collection. Please share your responses on the chat as we vote. What is one thing you personally spend money that you know is completely unnecessary? Mwiti, I think we can do the family one just in case so that we become fewer in that category. Kibathi is saying lip gloss. Thank you very much. So let us continue as we do that. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue dropping your responses on the chat. This is a very lively and good session for us to interact and share what we have experienced within the NSE. Thank you very much, Mende, for saying notebooks. Now, we will dive into the third segment of our meeting. This is where every serious investment eventually gets reviewed. You don't only ask, did I enjoy it? You ask, what worked? What will I improve? Where can we better things? Especially, this is in similar resonance with that particular point whereby you have 1,000 Kenya shillings note and you have a few weeks to your payday. This is whereby you come and call yourself to a meeting as a fellow typical Kenyan will say. And now you have to devise solutions of what happens. Anything made of potatoes. Thank you. I relate, especially the wages, Caroline, oh my, and I'm sure a bit of peas. Toastmasters evaluations work exactly the same. That is not criticism. It is an opportunity for us to grow and better ourselves. In short, or similarly within the Nairobi School of Economics, it is the compound interest for your communication skills. And of course, to intertwine this with what our tip session master said today is, apart from visiting your friends, of course, with their favorite potato crisps, which is vinegar flavored. Remember to always invest in Toastmasters. It is always worth your money. Despite anything else in NSE or Nairobi, Toastmasters is worth your money. Of course, Nganga is saying snacks. A small improvement today, another improvement next week. And that is how we become better. Our first communication investment analyst is Joseph Karuga to evaluate Eva Mugweru. Take it away, Joseph Karuga. Joseph? Is Joseph in the room? Joseph? Karuga?
Oops, sorry for that. I was on mute. I thought you could hear me. Thank you for that. So thank you very much, Mr. TMOD. Eva, your speech this evening was undoubtedly fantastic. You are able to curate it like a public speech would be, with an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. I loved the fact that you were able to introduce your speech with a rhetorical question where you hooked us in as members of the audience and we were able to start paying really close attention to what you were about to say. When you asked us, have you had two completely unrelated conversations that made you question your life? That got me thinking about some of the things or questions that I've experienced that have really made me question some aspects of things in my life. And from then on, I was able to follow through your speech and your story very keenly. The other thing is I noticed that you also had clarity in your speech, and it was easy to identify and understand what your speech was all about the goals that you had set out for yourself as a young girl, however much they never panned out into adulthood and your professional life. However, you have been able to transform yourself and mold yourself on a different path to achieve something more or even better. That was great, I must say. You also had eye contact. You were able to keep looking at the camera as you spoke or you gave your speech, which made me as part of as members of the audience also to feel involved or connected. You also stood up and your camera angle was great as you were able to see all your movements and your body as you spoke, as opposed to when people tend to just have a sort of a headshot of the image. Now you were able to recreate a physical stage sort of presence. That was great. One of the things that I felt that you could probably maybe work on was the clasping of your hands when you spoke. Most of the times your hands were in this position. Perhaps if you employed more gestures as you were speaking, it would have been easier for you to be able to add onto your speech as opposed to just clasping your hands together, because it came across sometimes as if you were a bit uncomfortable or somewhat nervous. Maybe if you can work on that, employ more gestures that go with your speech instead of clasping your hands together. I also noticed that you used jargon when you spoke about the theory of structures and you sort of addressed the engineers in the room, and I felt left out. Perhaps you would have given an overview of what the theory of structures is about, and maybe we would have appreciated more what the theory is about. You would also perhaps consider employing dialogue in your forthcoming speeches. When you were speaking of wanting to be a math teacher as a 7-year-old, perhaps even bringing in conversations with your aunt and speaking as that 7-year-old girl that you were. Like, I want to be a math teacher when I grow up. This creates a vivid image and adds more life and spice to your story. The other thing that I noticed that you did well was you were able to use the rule of threes when you spoke about the reasons why you wanted to be a math teacher in future. You said one of the reasons was because of your aunt, because it was a good career, and because you were simply good at math. That rule, the rule of threes makes something or an idea stick for your audience. That said and done, I believe you did a really good job and you delivered a great speech. You undoubtedly made for bigger stages. If you can employ some of those suggestions that I just laid out, I believe you can even deliver much better speeches. Don't worry about being 30. The third floor is an amazing place to be. And like they say, getting old is like climbing a mountain. You get a little out of breath, but the views, I will tell you, are fantastic. Join me on third floor and you will enjoy it. Thank you, and back to you, TMOD.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much, Joseph, for that wonderful analysis. On to our next analyst to evaluate Faith Muhonyo's tip session. Please welcome Sanaba. Over to you, Sanaba.
Thank you, TMOD. Wow, Faith. What an inspirational speech you gave to us this evening. Congratulations. Your analogy of a home with a welcoming a guest worked perfectly. You described a successful club series that was creative and innovative. Well done, Faith. So I guess right now, your head of family, aka your president, is really happy right now. He and your family members have now all the ideas and ingredients to splurge and to increase the family members. Great. Your voice were audible. I enjoyed throughout your speech. Your vocal variety was placed at the right moment. And you were also smiling. That communicates very well your energy when you were speaking. And your hand gesture, your head also were perfectly moving. That made me follow your speech throughout. Congratulations. For me, you put all the ingredients to cook a perfect dinner for a guest to come back and to be satisfied throughout your dinner. Thank you so much. Now, for a point of improvement, because I am also one of a guest who is visiting your home today. So, they've appreciate if you could have give a floor to some guests and to ask them some questions. Like, for example, would you like to be welcome in my home, for example? And some guests would have said, oh, I would have, appreciate some Coca-Cola or some wine, something like that. And you can also ask some guests at the end of the visit if they were satisfied and if they can also give back some tips to improve your home to be a better place. Apart from that, Faith, you deliver a wonderful speech that will ensure your club a successful club series. Thank you so much. Back to you, dear TMOD.
Thank you very much to our both evaluators. Ladies and gentlemen, what is Nairobi without a rush hour? We've officially entered the rush hour, except this time instead of us taking the thicker road, it's the agenda that is slightly congested. So buckle up, we'll be changing lanes quickly to the expressway. But nonetheless, please let us give this session to Nicole to drop and take us through the best evaluator poll. As that is running, we will be moving on to our next segment, which is the general evaluations part. Students, every economy, please vote for the best evaluator. Apologies, it has just popped up on your screen. Please do that for the best evaluator. Students and fellow members of the on the Nairobi School of Economics eventually faces the Auditor General. What is economics without the fears and the famous, most detested people? The audit. We have spent time, we have circulated vocabulary, we have delivered speeches, we have created verbal expenditure, and now somebody must review the books, right? Please welcome our Auditor General of the Nairobi School of Economics, NSE, to take it over. The lover of anything potatoes. Over to you, Caroline Jenga. Caroline, please take it over. You can finish the potatoes after the meeting. Caroline, are you there?
I'm there. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to be able to put on the video. Hello, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As your general evaluator, I'm here to evaluate the meeting from the start to the end. And to help me in giving out my evaluation, I'll first call for the reports. And first and foremost, we'll start with our grammarian, Beatrice Mange, to give out her reports.
All right. Thank you, Carol. I thought I'd come in last, but it's okay. I have my notes ready. As tonight's grammarian, I've really enjoyed the conversations and the speeches. So Salim has used a lot of English, a lot of big words. I can't repeat all of them. You've all heard them. There was the use of informal language, but because of the topic of the day, the Nairobi School of Economics, that was unavoidable. So those things like kuinama, kuoshwa, which is okay. Sharp boys and sharp girls, slang. There was also, he also used a proverb where he said home is where the heart is. He also used another term where he was like, you need, for the topics, table topics, he said volunteering your brain. And then just before I came in, he was like changing lanes to the expressway. So he has really used a lot of good English. For Karuga, there was, as he was evaluating Eva, he said, adding spice to your story. That was a good sentence. And then now for Eva, the main speaker of the day, your story was quite captivating. I enjoyed listening. So some of the language that stood out for me was, especially on the theory of structures, you said that the roads felt more straightforward than structures. That was a very good use of the language because you are using it in a comparative way. So you're just trying to bring in contrast simplicity and complexity for the two. You also used a quote where you said the trouble of learning from experience is that you never graduate. That was such a rich quote because the whole point was to emphasize that learning from life experiences is continuous and it has no definite endpoint. There was also the use of words like you're pushing, sentences like you're pushing 30. You also had your whole life planned ahead. Maybe some of the corrections I would make, there just a few. In one of the lines as you were talking, you said became a maths lecturer. However, that could have been become. You said you thought you became a maths lecturer, but what you'd have said was become a maths lecturer. There's also at one point where you said you had an aunt, Aunt Wangoi, a lecturer. Maybe you should have added who. So you said I had an aunt, Aunt Wangoi, who is or was a lecturer. What else did I notice? So that was pretty much it. Very good use of the English language. And then for Faith Mohunyo, oh, by the way, Eva, you did not use the word splurge at any given point. For Faith, also you didn't use the word splurge, but for your tip session, it was quite nice. What I noticed was the use of the rhetorical questions just to engage the audience, to emphasize a point and just to keep the audience thinking. So you used that a lot. For Ruth Kamau, for your table topics, I liked that you used the phrase defend your survival strategy. You did not use the phrase splurge. Maureen Kibathi, you used splurge twice. That's good. Moyaka did not use the word. And Kirote, as she was responding, she used the word splurge once. And also she had a quote. I don't know whether it's a quote or what it was, but she said, benefactor, you become a benefactor with pitying eyes while hating yourself. That was quite impressive. So that's my report. That's my grammarian report. Back to you.
Caroline? Caroline, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Caroline, the GE, sorry.
Thank you, Beatrice, for your. Thank you, Salim. Thank you, Beatrice, for giving out a great report. I now welcome Frank to give out his report. Frank?
Yes, I hope you can hear me, Caroline.
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. That's also, I should add that. Okay, so in my report, there have been, basically, everyone had used good use of language, good use of the English language. However, there are instances where there are some people who depend on crutch words. The most common crutch word that has been used during this meeting is and then so. There was a use of and like, in addition to others. The people who have used, for example, Beatrice used around 7 times, and there. There was also Mayaka, who used like 2 times, like, and also you know. In such a case, rather than using there are other options that a person can use. You can use pauses. You can ensure by using pauses, it's better, and you can allow people to understand what you're saying rather than continuing to depend on the use of those crutch words. Back to you.
Thank you, Frank, for a well-elaborate report. I would kindly request Mercy to give out her report later on so as to time me as I give out my report. Thank you. I'd like to let me start again. As your GE, I'd like to first give out a report on how the meeting was prepared. First of all, I'd like to say that Wilkista prepared early because we had a different TMOD beforehand, which later on it was changed to Selim. So it was great for Wilkista to have planned the meeting earlier because of the grievances that happen when the TMOD is not available. So I'd like to say that the meeting started on time, and also I loved Selim's theme, School of Economics. Today, our dean, Kelvin Cheriot, ensured that we understood and enjoyed the classes on School of Economics. I think this is under our University of Adulting, and Salim is the dean of Nairobi School of Economics. I love the way the theme related with the audience, how you use the word board mass,
which meant bills, obligations, data bundles, which will be used on Twitter, money that is on the M-Pesa transactions, anything for the boys or for the girls, and savings. I loved how you did a great transitions of the role from the timer to the grammarian, and how you gave everyone a specific name and how you introduced their roles. Like for Beatrice, you stated that she's a professor. The accountant is the one in charge of miscellaneous. The grammarian monitors the linguistic economy. Love the questions that you asked in the chat. These made people, it felt good to confess on our financial scenes on the chats, which was very much enjoyable. Loved how everything that you stated on your theme related into our financial life, and how the Nairobi financial scenario is. We go to our speakers. We have our first speaker, who was Eva, who talked about pushing to 30. I know everyone had a dream of when she was 7 years old, by 25 you'd be married. Eva, we are still on that train up to now. And for some of us who have already turned 30, we are still looking at it as the far end. But that is an enjoyable age to enjoy. We also have Faith, who ensured that we understood emotives by relating it into a home, of how a guest arrives at a home, who does he or she meets, and the president as the, I would say a dad, I'll say like the big bro of the home, and the one who takes care of us, and how when you, after a few days, you don't become a guest, but you become a member of that family. It was a great activity. For the evaluators, I loved how Joseph Karuga gave out a great evaluation for Eva's speech. That is, used the sandwich method, give out the good part of her speech, what needs to be worked on, and the recommendations. And also for Sanaba, for the first time, we have an international evaluator into our club, who gave out also a great evaluation for the speech, for Faith's speech. For the role takers, we have our grammarian, who gave out a great word, splurge, which highly relates with the Nairobi School of Economics, and gave out a well-detailed report on how to use the King Charles language while giving out our speeches. We also have the R counter, who stated the words that were mostly used, that is the R's and M's, and it's also a mistake I'm finding myself doing. And also for the table topics master, who ensured that who gave out questions that related well with the Nairobi School of Economics, where I know everyone have found themselves having 1,000 shillings, battling around on, should I use it on airtime, should I use it on food, or should I use it for transport? And also on how when you send money in a wrong M-Pesa number, or you send money in a wrong account, all the emotions we go through. I'll give out for the timer, I loved how she introduced her role in form of a speech, and yes. And for every speaker who spoke during the table topic session, they gave out a relatable answer to what we would have done if something like that, if we experienced the question that was being asked. Thank you. Back to you. Let me go back. I give it out to the timer, Mercy, to give out her report.
Okay, let me lower my hand first. Good evening once again. I truly have had such a fantastic time, and we have definitely splurged on our time, and I truly hope that it was worth it for you. Before I present my report, interesting fact, the person taking the role, that is myself, I am a timekeeper, not a timer. Timer is a tool, timekeeper is the person. My report is as follows. The presiding officer session took 13 minutes against the budgeted 10 minutes. So that is 3 minutes above time. For the speeches, we had the first speaker, Eva Mugweru, who took 10 minutes, 30 seconds, which was 3 minutes, 30 seconds above time. Guess what? Those are 2 speeches in one. The second speaker was Faith Muhunyo, who took 13 minutes and 40 seconds, which was within time. For the table topic session, the whole session took 12 minutes, and the first speaker, Maureen Kibaki, took 1 minute, 3 seconds, which was within and below time. We had Patrick Mayaka, our newest member in Downtown, who took 1 minute, 26 seconds, within time. We had Caroline Joroge, who is the president of Kasarani, who took 1 minute, 40 seconds. And lastly, we had our amazing guest, Nkirote, who took 36 seconds. Moving on to the evaluation session, where the evaluators are supposed to take 2 to 3 minutes. Joseph Karuga, aka James, took 5 minutes, 10 seconds, completely obliterated time, but his advice was worth it. And our guest evaluator, Sanaba, again, welcome to Downtown. You took 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which was within time. Lastly, the functionary role takers, we had the grammarian, Beatrice, who took 4 minutes rather, and 14 seconds, which was slightly above time. Our counter, Frank, who had 2 minutes, took 1 minute, 30 seconds, which was within time. And our general evaluator, Carol, has taken 6 minutes against her 7 minutes. Tonight, we have measured time, but perhaps the bigger question is, did we use it and use it well? Because just as we can overstay our time, we can also underuse it. Let's not leave valuable minutes on the table. Use your time and don't merely keep it. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much for the wonderful evaluations and report from the GE and the tag team. Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of tonight's class, we had the boat match rule, and I will quickly summarize it. B was for bills, O for obligations to the landlord, D was for the data bundles, stroke Wi-Fi, M was for M-Pesa, and A was for anything for the boys or girls, and S, savings. And we discovered that the S stands to suffer, S for suffering, but Toastmasters gives us another board mass. B for being present. When somebody speaks, give them your attention. For O, own your voice. Your story does not need somebody else's permission. Speak it out loudly. This is your safe space. D, dare to participate. Volunteer before you feel completely ready. Because trust me, you will never be ready. M, for the make mistakes. This is one of the safest places in the world to make them. And you can see that we are attracting even international members here because this is the safest place, just as our tagline says. A, applaud generously. Recognition costs nothing, but sometimes means everything. And finally, S, speak. Because unlike money, in our NSC faculty, the more you spend your voice here, the richer it becomes. Ladies and gentlemen, as I finish, economics is ultimately about choices. Toastmasters is too. Do I speak or remain silent? Do I volunteer or wait? Do I accept feedback or defend myself? Do I use my time or I invest it? And remember, your salary doesn't disappear. It simply participates it only participates very actively in the Kenyan economy. but your voice in Toastmasters is different. You can splurge on it, use it, practice it, make mistakes, make people laugh. Like how hard I tried tonight. Because every time you use it, its value increases. Congratulations, graduates. And please remember, if it's only 500 bob, it's not a financial strategy. Mr. President and Presiding Officer, the university has concluded today's lecture. The students have survived and the accounts remain questionable. I return control to you. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you, our able professor who has taken us through the most amazing parts of the Nairobi School of Economics. He has pledged us with some insightful bonbons on how we can use board mass as a handy toolkit in our ongoing battle with Nairobi real economic. So let us always remember to pay our growing laundry list of bills, negotiate with our landlords in whatever form they come, but most importantly, save, live life fully, and remember to exhale. Let's give him a round of applause. You can open your mic, you can drop it in the chat, you can use it an emoji, just clap there. Let's give our professor his flowers.
Ooh, splurging. Flowers, Mr. Professor.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I'd like also to take this opportunity to appreciate all our speakers, our role takers, our evaluators who have done a phenomenal job in contributing to today's vibrant and fun meeting. Thank you. Please also drop your emojis, thank them, congratulate them, and as in Downtown we believe, we lead with gratitude and excellence. I believe we have all been enriched to become confident communicators and leaders. Now we enter to the business section or segment of the meeting. Unfortunately, time is not on our hand, and therefore would request for Downtown members if you can stay behind for at least 10 minutes for us to be presented the budget and to vote on it afterwards. But now I would like to invite our Sergeant at Arms to make an announcement of who our best speaker, or better speaker in this case, better table topics, speakers and evaluators. So Nicole, I cannot see you, I cannot hear you, and I'm eagerly waiting for you to splash some useful gems. Please take the stage.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Thank you, Team Woody, for such a wonderful session. I would like to share the results of the day, of the evening. Drum rolls, everyone. Better speaker. We had two speakers today. We had Eva Mugweru and Faith Muhunyo. Total number of 40 votes were cast, and out of the 40, we have Eva Mugweru as our winner. I will give it in percentage form. That is 56% of the votes. So Eva Mugweru, you are the better speaker of the day. A round of applause, everyone. And then we go to the better evaluator. We had a total number of 36 votes cast. And out of the 36, no, we had a total number of 30 votes cast. And out of the total, we have our better evaluator as Karuga with 53% of the votes cast. A round of applause for Karuga Joseph. Then lastly, the best table topic speaker. I was wowed by this session and challenged in the most admirable of ways. So thank you so much, Ruth, for conducting the session. And with this session, we had differences of points. So I think everyone qualifies. Let's just give them a round of applause. Everyone qualifies to be a winner. But out of all of them, we have Nkirote Mweti with 32% of the total votes cast. That is the 29 votes that were cast. She has 32% of them. So Congratulations. Better speaker, we have Eva Mugweru. Better evaluator, we have Karuga. And best table topics, we have Nkirote Mwiti. I will be dispatching your certificates immediately after this in the group with the meeting role takers. So please feel free to get your certificates from there. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, our able and amazing Sergeant at Arms, and congratulations to our speakers and the evaluator for a well done job. Now I'd like to acknowledge any visiting Toastmaster or leader who is in the room. I would like to invite one or two to just say hi, where you're joining us from. Would love to hear. You're visiting Toastmasters. We saw you. We want now to hear you. Say hello. Visiting Toastmasters have left the building, sadly. But we're honored that they could make it for the meeting. I'd like to invite two guests to share the experience. How did you find the meeting? Did you enjoy it? What did you learn? We're a guest. I saw Ahmed Kamau. Ahmed, do you want to say something? Flora Jebet. Wow. I guess very silent. I would love to hear from you.
Hi.
Did you enjoy it? Yes, Flora.
Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, I'm unable to switch on my camera this evening, but thank you for the good session. I had seen the poster and I was curious about today's topic. I feel, okay, well, it was a great topic. It was a great topic of discussion, and I'm elated to have attended today's session. So I'm hoping and looking forward to joining you. Thank you.
Laura, please get in touch with Faith Muhonyo, Global Vice President of Membership. Should love to hear from you because we do follow up on our amazing guests so they can join us. And you're more than welcome to any time to be with us at Downtown Toastmasters. It was a pleasure to have you. And then I would like just to make a few announcements, closing announcements. Our next club meeting will be held on the fourth Thursday of this month, that's on the 27th, and it will be in person at Cardinal Otunga Plaza in the Nairobi Central Business District. If you happen to be in town in Nairobi, please come to Cardinal Otunga, 9th floor at 6:29 p.m. on the 27th of August. We'd love to have you. And if you're a guest and you truly enjoyed the meeting and you'd love to know more about how to join Downtown and to help you grow your leadership and communication skills, please reach out to our Global Vice President, Faith Muhonyo, after the meeting or just get there. I think she has dropped her contacts. You can reach out to her and you can further proceed with the conversation. Without further ado, I would like to ask any of our EXCO members if they have any immediate announcement before I adjourn. All right, hearing now, I would like to formally and officially declare meeting 298, those of Downtown Toastmasters Club adjourned. As you leave, please remember to splurge a little in your journey to becoming a better communicator and leader by truly driving your own learning and the learning of others and at Downtown Toastmasters Club. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. If you're a guest representative to Toastmasters, I would like to release you now. And I would request all the Downtown members to remain, and because I want to invite our treasurer to present the budget. Thank you. If you're good to go, Toastmaster Dennis Kahura, please take the floor and tell us more about the budget.
Great.
And the
Thank you so
proposal.
much, Eric. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when it's up and running.
I can see it. Everyone can.
Okay, great. Thank you. And a good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Here is our budget for this year, as from July this year to June 2027. And we'll dive right into it because of time constraint. I don't want to keep you, and yeah, I will make it short, precise, and succinct. So where are we? Our goal as a club is to deliver quality meetings where members practice leadership and communication skills. Prior to this exco taking over duties, the bank balances were 143, 348. We are envisioning to have an average of 30 members for the 2 sessions because that is the average membership that there usually is for, and this is an average from 4 seasons, 6 months each. We foresee to have a revenue of 776,000 against an expenditure of 776. Shortly, we'll detail all this. And as we also have this in mind, we are having a vision where as this exco hands over to the next exco, end of June 2027, we want to leave balances where the club can operate normally, and we project to have healthy revenues of 123. That one is with an asterisk. Where are we now? Effective beginning of this month, Toastmasters International increased the fees by 20%. That is from $60 to $72 for the membership fees for one cycle, which lasts 6 months. For the upcoming, which is due for renewal, it starts 1st October 2026 and ends on 31st March 2027. With this, during the last physical meeting last month, there was a task force of 5 members that was mandated to a finance task force to check on the finances, the revenues, the expenditures, and the effect of this 20% increase in Toastmasters International dues. And I have seen everybody in that task force because I was present. Eric, the president, Faith Muhunyo, our VPE, and Maureen Kibathi. I saw her earlier. The only one absent is Donvin Oguda. Yes. So as I had explained, as I had said, this drills down into the revenues and the expenditure. And looking at this glance, it seems as if we're going to have an over expenditure of 225, but there's a placeholder condition on 2 or 3 budget items, which I am explaining shortly. I don't want to bog you down with a lot of numbers, but this column here is the ideal ideal member scenario for that 30 members. However, we envision a best case scenario where we will have 37 members and above, which is highly achievable. And I encourage all guests and us as members to invite more guests who will definitely become members. We also had a look at a worst case scenario where our membership would fall below 25 members. So the 776,000 is driven by, as I said, we have proposed an increase of 20% in the membership fees, that is from 10,000 to 12,000, and that 12,000 for 2 cycles, this October to March, and then March to September next year. Those are 2 cycles. So 12,000 for 2 cycles, and ideal case scenario of 30 members, that gives us 720,000 revenue from the membership fees. As for the guest attendance fees, we have projected more or less the same amount as was raised last year, which is 46,000, and something that is currently cooking, however, it is not yet fully developed. The EXCO is working on Speechcraft, which will generate revenue, which will be a good source of income. And on this, we have some placeholders whereby I will go to this the place card printing or replacement. They're currently worn out, they're old, and we want to replace this, but on condition that the Speechcraft is idealized, up and running, has generated revenue, and the revenue generates will be way more than the expense. The expense will be very minimal, if any. As for awards and recognition, there are ribbons, and this is all the ribbons, including installations, including the awards where members do their icebreaker speech, best speeches, all those. The current stock is very low, and we're going to have an additional for this, and also for recognition certificates. This is mostly for during installations, for the physical certificates. Otherwise, we usually do e-certificates, which comes with no costs. So for the events and conferences, we have anniversary, we have installation ceremony, which will be for the new EXCO for the term 2027, for the term as from July 2027. And then we have an open house, nothing for the socials. If one is going to come up, members or the participants are going to foot their own bill. And then we have the club contests. Then for education and trainings, we have minimal expenditure for COT, where this represents the club officer training. And as for promotions, we don't have anything listed on the budget. We have unavoidable costs for IT, which is this Zoom account we use for Downtown, and also an annual Google Drive subscription for the official Gmail for Downtown. There's also a placeholder or an asterisk on this Zoom. We are exploring ways where we can cost share this with another club where meetings won't clash. So we might divide this by 2, the expense, and this will be better savings and more income and more leeway to spend on other expenditures or on other things that we would see fit. The biggest expenditure line is obviously for membership, which is the remittance to Toastmasters International, and hand in hand with this, there's also the forex. So important to note, members pay in Kenya shillings while we have to remit the dues in dollars. So there's forex we cannot avoid on this. in addition to the increased TMI dues. As for the admin, the cost seems minimal here. More or less the 3,500 for bank charges for the entire year, some little bit of printing for the ballot papers for the physical meeting, and when we foresee at least 3 to 5 to 10 new members for joining, so we will print their cards. And this is the placeholder. This one is on condition that the speechcraft is generated, so we actually really won't have a deficit whereby we will eat into the reserves of the club. The biggest expenditure here is usually the hall hire for Cardinal Otunga for the physical meetings. It is fixed at 63,800. So I think I have done justice for the budget, where the money comes from and where it is going. I've also mentioned the placeholder for the place cards, which is conditional on speechcraft, and then also some savings we might have should we cost share the Zoom account with another club. How is EXCO managing the costs? So we have undertaken deliberate steps to keep costs minimal while offering quality meetings every time. The first one is guest fee. We have maintained this at 350, and the intention is to encourage guests to attend and eventually join as members, where we gain more revenue other than increasing the guest fees. So as for the installation costs for the upcoming EXCO, that is as from July 2027, we kept this minimal at 5,000. I already mentioned the Zoom account, which we're exploring to cost share with another account, and it will halve the current cost of 25,200. I already this dives deeper into the contests where we have to hire extra space and also some catering for the contests, which are upcoming in a few months. I have already mentioned the awards and the ribbons and certificates, and also the speechcraft, which is work in progress. It is, I have not yet placed any value for it on the budget, as it's a work in progress, and highly likely it's going to materialize around towards the end of the year. So probably beginning next year will be a very good time to report on it. What does the 12,000 deliver to you or give to you as member? As said, quality meetings where members practice speeches, evaluation, grow in leadership skills, and also grow in leadership and public speaking skills. Secondly, contests and recognition whereby there is healthy competition, a safe space, and people are recognized for their achievements. And global TMI membership, whereby members access pathways, they grow in their education, their pathways, their achievements, and definitely get to benefit from the global Toastmasters community, whereby we can give speeches, evaluations in other clubs, basically get to connect with all the members of Toastmasters. And then definitely, last but not least, the leadership opportunities, be it EXCO, be it role takers, everybody gets to grow in leadership and has an opportunity to develop all their skills, be it public speaking, be it leadership in real world, as we interact and as we connect mostly during this meeting. To close this off, we project healthy revenues and reserves at reserves, ensuring long-term financial sustainability, and thank you for your continued membership. So I open the floor for questions, for feedback, and scrutiny of this budget. As people maybe churn through all that, hopefully the numbers were not a lot and probably boring. As people think through probably the questions and feedback that is coming, I have a motion that is upcoming, so I'm waiting for the feedback so that we have two motions on this. One is on the increase in fees, the 20% increase in fees from 10,000 to 12,000, and the other one is to adopt the budget. Yes.
Members are encouraged for any questions, because after this, we're going straight into the parliamentary session. Right. Hearing no questions, I don't know whether there are any, are there any questions on the chat? Maybe it's on the chat.
None.
Okay. So hearing none, I would like now to proceed to the parliamentary session, which is made up of just two motions. The first one is very simply, we'll need, based on what presented, it means we need to increase our semi-annual membership dues. And the second one is just to adopt the budget as presented. So moving on to motion one, which is the first item, to increase the Downtown Toastmasters Club membership dues. I would like now to invite the treasurer to move the motion. Treasurer?
Thank you. So, Mr. President, I move that Downtown Toastmasters Club increase its membership dues from Kenya shillings 10,000 to Kenya shillings 12,000 per 6 months membership period, effective from the first renewal period, that is October 2026 to March 2027 membership period.
Thank you, Treasurer. Is there a seconder? We need a seconder.
I second.
We have a question in chat.
Okay. I will invite for the question in the second part. So who has seconded? Just state your name.
Maureen Kibati.
Thank you, Maureen, for seconding. Now I'll just invite the question that has been raised, which is, does the guest fee remain the same? Yes, it does. Or, sorry, I should not respond to this. Treasurer, does the guest fee remain the same?
Yes. As I had mentioned, how we are managing the cost, the guest fees for physical meetings remains the same. That is Kenya shillings 350. And the idea behind this is to attract and have more guests who eventually turn or we convert them to becoming members of Downtown.
Toastmaster Dr. Kevin Rubia, the PM, do you feel you have been adequately responded to?
Yes. Yes. The logic makes sense, and I will say yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, If there is no further discussion, I would like us to proceed to the vote. So I would now like just to confirm if from the Sergeant at Arms whether there are any guests or visiting Toastmasters in the room.
We do have one visiting Toastmaster, Lamek Nurusta.
Okay. So I would request Toastmaster Lamek not to participate in the vote once it is launched, because this is for only downtown members. So I would,
Mr. President,
yes.
I would like to confirm if Emelda Precious is a member of Downtown because she hasn't confirmed via the name. So I don't know if she...
Yeah, I'm here. I had confirmed, but I left, so I was not able to rewrite again. Sorry about that.
Okay, so then that means that Lamek is the only guest in the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is duly noted. Now I would like to invite eligible members to vote on the first motion, which is to increase the Downtown Toastmasters Club membership dues from 10,000 to 12,000 for each 6-month period. The poll has been launched. Please vote now. The two motions, so the votes are for two motions.
Yes, I was actually going to mention. I just noticed that it's a double motion, so you may want to call the two. It's easy.
Okay, fine. I will then, I'll have to move two motions at the same time. So the second motion is to adopt the Downtown Toastmasters Club 2026-2027 club budget as presented. I'll ask for a seconder for the second motion. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Please present your full names, Toastmaster.
Let me wrap it in a gift so that I can present it as a present. My name is Donvin Oguda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devin Oguda, for seconding the second motion. Now we can proceed to the vote for both motion. Please select your vote and then submit.
You have 30 more seconds. Please submit your vote. Please note that there are a total number of 22 eligible votes. You have a choice of either yes, no, or abstain. So please make your vote count. Five members have not yet voted.
We'll give 30 more seconds for the 5 members to vote. We'd love to hear from you. I believe the 30 seconds is up.
Yeah.
We can close the vote. Thank you for everyone's participation. The vote is now closed. I would like to invite our Sergeant at Arms just to share the results. as our returning officer.
So for the first motion, that is increase Downtown Toastmasters Club membership dues from 10,000 to 12,000 Kenya shillings per 6-month membership period, effective from the October 2026 to March 2027 membership period. We have a total number of 22 eligible participants. Out of the 22, 19 voted. That is 86% participated. We have 17 yeses out of 19 for the first motion. We have 2 out of 19 that said no, and then we have 0 that abstained. So motion 1 is passed with 17 votes out of 19. Sorry, yes, Mr. President. So we have 17 yeses for motion 1, and then we have motion 2, adopt the Downtown Toastmasters Club 2026 club budget as presented. 19 out of 19 have said yes. We have 0 no's and 0 abstained. So we have 19 votes that have voted yes for motion 2.
Returning officer, our sergeant at arms. The ayes have it. Both motions are carried. And I want to acknowledge and thank all the members for all their support. And I look forward to having a wonderful year together. I think, given it's 8:56, I would not like to keep you further. Though you're welcome to stay if you want to stay and converse and socialize. But we can conclude the business session of today's meeting. Thank you and have a wonderful evening ahead.